That's where to find free and open geospatial data. Kasi lagi itong tinatanong. And this is also an opportunity for you to ask if meron kayong specific data set na hinahanap. We can all use time to discuss that. Para if ever man gusto nyo siyang gamitin uh, sa sa next days of the course or sa next day ng course or sa work nyo, may opportunity tayo dito para magtanong. But here, I would just like to talk about first data types and file formats, and then looking at yung specific sources of data. Right? So we've talked about rasters and vectors, but there are so many other data formats and data types na pwede natin gamitin in GIS, not just Cube. You have your tiles, like I said, databases, web services, point clouds, and meshes. Examples lang to. Now, probably a lot of you have heard of shapefiles, right? So raise your hand kung ito yung first time mong ma-encounter si shapefile. Most probably hindi, di ba? Karamihan sa atin yung shapefile yung very first intro natin sa GIS, right? And I have to preface that I'm not a hater of shapefiles. I know na meron silang use and meron silang a really wonderful history as a data format for GIS. It's just that because I've worked with them for a while na, for quite some time, I also know the limitations of shapefiles. In fact, dito sa atin and even everywhere, when people pertain to vector data, they usually just use yung shapefile as a word to pertain to vector data in general. Even though parang yung Colgate, toothpaste, Coke, soft drink scenario dito sa atin, bili mo nga ako Colgate even though uh, toothpaste yung mini-main mo. Ganon din sa atin. Pahingi nga ng shapefile. Even though what you actually mean is, do you have vector data for this? Kasi hindi lang naman shapefile yung vector data. In fact, one of the reasons why I've tended to move away from shapefiles sa mga trainings ko, aside from just showing how to load it, kung titingnan nyo yung materials natin, they're all in geo packages, maliban sa ilang rasters, etc., is because of the limitation of the format. So the shapefile itself is not just one file. It's three main required files. Alam nyo ba kung ano yung tatlong yun na required para gumana yung shapefile? There's of course, the .shp. That's the geometry. The .dbf, which is pag binuksan mo sa isang spreadsheet file, it's just a table. It's an old standard for tables. Very, very old standard for tables na hindi na-update. The DBF is your attribute table. And your SHX, which is your spatial index. So you need your spatial index para mas mabilis i-process yung alam nung geometry kung paano mas mabilis siyang i-process. Right? And a lot of sidecar files. So yung mga sidecar files, ito yung mga .prj, .sb, yung kung ano-ano pang extension na ano nila. So una sa lahat, it's not just one file. So unless you do um, an active, you actively zip it, archive it, put it together in one file, there's a possibility na makalimutan mo. And that happens. I mean, I'm not the only person who's ever experienced na someone sending me just the .shp. I'm sure napakaraming taong na-experience na rin yun. Or baka tayo nga yung naging may kasalanan. Nag-send tayo ng data sa iba, .shp lang yung binigay natin. Right? That happens a lot. So one, it's not just one file. Two, it has a size limit. It's because of the fact that a shapefile is based on a 32-bit standard, 32-bit data. Kung medyo kaedad ko kayo, na naabutan nyo pa na yung mga computers natin 32-bit, so malalaman natin yung edad, prior to early 2000s, mid 2000s, a lot of computers were still 32-bit. At kung maaalala nyo, there was a hard limitation onto the size of the RAM for our 32-bit computers, and that's 4 gigs of RAM. Ngayon, 128 na because we're on 64-bit computers. Pero it's the same with shapefiles. It's a 32-bit standard. There's a 4 gig size limitation. Anything beyond 4 gigabytes, medyo magkakaproblema shapefile mo. And that's not unrealistic. 4 gigabytes right now is small relative sa size of the data sets that we have, right? One good example for me is yung release recently ng Google, tsaka ng Overture, tsaka ng Microsoft na building shapefiles. Not even shapefiles, building footprint data. For the Philippines, that was around anywhere between 3 gigs to 6 gigs. So hindi na siya gagana as a shapefile. So when I shared about that sa page, sa BNHR, about, may bagong dataset na ganito, there are always people who ask, paano to gawing shapefile? Or pwede ba tong i-download as shapefile? Unfortunately, we can't. It's a limitation of the format. That's why nga they are being released not as shapefiles, but as GeoParquet, as flat GeoBuff, as GeoPackages. Kasi na-hit na yung limitation na yun. Aside from that, there are character and field limits. I'm not the only person who's ever encountered na pag nagpangalan ka ng mahaba sa isang layer, tapos sinave mo siya sa shapefile, matitrim up to 10 characters yung pangalan. That's a limitation of the format. And sometimes, ang workaround is to create a lookup table. Diba? Ano ibig sabihin nitong code na to? When pwede namang hindi. There are so many formats that we can use aside from shapefiles. So just some examples. There's the GeoPackage. It's a standard format supported by the OpenGeospatial Consortium. It's great if you want to have several data contained in a single file, right? So yung example ko dito is this. Yan. For a GeoPackage, when a GeoPackage can contain data, it can contain styling, it can even contain QGIS projects. So when we discuss projects later, you'll find out how convenient this all is. Kasi that means na I can save everything inside of a single GeoPackage, send that GeoPackage to someone, and be sure na andun yung lahat ng kailangan nila to open the project the same way that I have it on my computer. Right? So GeoPackages are great, especially if you want to include multiple files uh, sa isang file. It's essentially a file-based geodatabase. Flat GeoBuffs and also GeoParquet. These are very performant, meaning mabilis regardless the size ng data. They are currently being looked at as the standard for cloud-native vectors. So large, really, really big data sets and being able to load them in Q and other geospatial applications, Flat GeoBuff tsaka GeoParquet yung tinitingnan. I can show you an example. Yung building footprint data natin for Google, Open Buildings, right? And then for example yung yung Microsoft Buildings ng buong Pilipinas, right there. If you look at its properties, it's 3.14 gigs. It has more than 17 million features. Hindi na kaya ng shapefile to. If you try to save this to a shapefile, you'll have problems. Yung loading pa lang ng 17 million features, mahirapan na yung computer mo. But this is possible because of new formats like Flat GeoBuff or even GeoParquet na optimized talaga for use with big data, big geospatial data sets. Right? So, hindi lang shapefile yung ano natin, yung option natin. There's also GeoJSON. It's geographic data in JSON format. For those who are unfamiliar, ano yung JSON? JSON is JavaScript Object Notation. And it's mostly the language of the web, right? So if you look at yung yung typical JSON file from json.org, ganito lang siya. Essentially, this is what a JSON format is. It's a key and a set of values. It's the language of the web kasi marami sa mga websites, APIs, etc. Ganito yung pag-communicate nila. Ganito yung pag-send nila ng data. And GeoJSON is essentially just geographic data in JSON format. Meaning, meron kang information there on the features, the collections, etc. O on the geometries, yung diniscuss natin na data model, pwede mo silang ilagay as a GeoJSON format. Bakit kailangan alam natin yung GeoJSON? They're great because they're web native, they're great for web mapping applications, especially really simple ones. So yung mga pinakita ko sa inyo kanina na Valentine's map, hazard map na online, those aren't using advanced stacks. Ang gamit lang nila ay isang GeoJSON file, tapos uh, isang essentially website or web page na bumabasa ng file na yon at pinoprocess siya para ma-display sa mapa online. So what about yung spatial databases? So these are just files. Pero kung gusto mong mag-expand, especially if you're an yun nga, LGUs and offices sa LGUs na nagmamanage ng sobrang daming data, I think we need to start thinking more about going beyond yung shapefile-based data management and going through actually using spatial databases. Kasi ginagamit natin yun sa ibang data eh. Diba? Yung ibang mga records natin, naka-database. Pero yung spatial data natin, hindi. When in fact, minsan mas malaki pa yung mga spatial data natin. So this is one of the topics that I gave sa previous training ko with PSA. We talked about how to um, use spatial data management in at a scalable way, scalable, sustainable way, gamit yung mga spatial databases. So spatial databases like PostGIS, GeoPackage, Spatialite, pino-combine niya yung ability mo to store large amounts of data with the ability to rapidly, efficiently query yung data. So meron akong spatial database, pwede ko siyang tanungin, my favorite question, hanapin mo sa akin yung 5 pinakamalapit na Jollibee sa bahay ko. And a spatial database will answer that in a snap. Yeah. In fact, ang isa ring mga sinasabi namin is if you learn spatial databases, hindi mo na kailangan ng GIS. Kasi everything you need, especially analysis, yung visualization, kailangan pa yung GIS. Pero yung analysis mo, spatial database can do all of that and sometimes more, right? So I know some people who focus just on spatial analysis using spatial databases. Yung GIS nila is just for visualization of the output. With that out of the way, if there are questions, this is a good time. If not, I'll discuss just some uh, specific sources of data. Right? So una is OpenStreetMap. Raise your hand if you've heard of OpenStreetMap before. Or just send sa chat kung narinig nyo na kung ano yung OpenStreetMap. Yun. Medyo expected. Isa from department, isa from joke. Yeah, OSM or OpenStreetMap. It's the free and open map of the world. Uh, the Philippines has one of the most vibrant, most welcoming, and I want to say most open and active OpenStreetMap communities sa buong mundo. Um, a lot of that also stems from yung work done by those before us sa generation namin. May older generation ng mappers na nagturo sa amin. And right now, during our generation, a lot of them come from, actually from JOG. Sina Faye, sina Miko, um, na pioneers rin during our generation ng OSM. So OpenStreetMap, it was founded in 2004. It's built by a community of mappers who contribute and maintain data about the world. Although I hate this analogy, this is the best analogy na maraming makakaintindi. It's essentially Google Maps that's open source, right? I hate that analogy, pero ito yun yung easiest way to define this without going into the intricacies of OpenStreetMap. So, Google Maps, alam nyo pwede tayong kung nakikita natin doon yung mga location ng mga shops, pwede tayong mag-navigation, gamit yun. What we don't see sa Google Maps most of the time is how they get that data. So that data is actually proprietary. That's owned by Google. Everything you put on Google Maps is owned by Google, not you. It's owned by Google. It's on their servers, etc. It's on their license agreement, kung babasahin nyo. So yung mga naglalagay ng information ng stores nila, etc., that's actually becomes a data set by Google. And yung data nila is proprietary, therefore we can't use it freely. If you actually want to use data, Google data, POI, etc., you have to sign up for an account, you need an API key, and up to a certain level, or beyond a certain level, you have to pay them to use that data, right? And that's a paywall. In the interest of openness and open data, nabuo yung OpenStreetMap as a way to have this data set of the world na safe from those limitations. So at any point in time, kung gusto mong gamitin yung OpenStreetMap data, you're free to do so. Commercial, non-commercial, research, etc. Yung only requirement lang as you attribute OpenStreetMap. So OSM is licensed under the ODBL. It's a license na kasabay yung Open Knowledge Foundation na i-develop. It essentially gives you the freedom, again, kalayaan na gamitin yung data any way you want, as long as you attribute OpenStreetMap. In fact, one of the biggest contributors sa OSM in recent times are actually big corporations who ayaw nilang bayaran gusto nilang maging competitor ni Google essentially. Or ayaw nilang bayaran yung gamitan yung ilang funds nila just to make Google more, richer. For example, Grab. Grab is actually one of the especially in Southeast Asia, in the Philippines, corporate isa sa mga corporate entities na gumagamit ng OpenStreetMap sa kanilang app, and at the same time um, nagdadagdag ng information sa OSM, right? Microsoft does that too, Meta does that too. In fact, may bagong, if you look for Overture, bago siyang parang consolidation of efforts ng mangilan-ngilang mga corporate entities to make OpenStreetMap more viable for commercial and development purposes. But yun, OpenStreetMap is really valuable. There's so many ways by which pwede natin siyang i-download. Ipapakita natin later yung isang paraan, which is using the Quick OSM plugin. But yun, if your question is, saan ako pwede maghanap ng road data? Most of the time, dahil sa pagiging sobrang masalimuot ng road sa Pilipinas, and those of you who work for LGUs or work with national agencies know this, walang isang agency na nagmamanage ng roads. DPWH, that's National Highways and Bridges. Province, that's provincial roads. City municipality, that's city municipality roads. So to get a complete data set of the entire roads sa isang province, you'll have to talk to DPWH, you have to talk to the provincial government, you have to talk to the individual municipalities and cities to get yung data from each of them. I don't think anybody curates yung buong yun. I've tried looking, and people have asked me so many times, and people have tried looking beyond, outside of myself. Wala. The closest I get, I tell people to do is try to use OpenStreetMap. And yung advantage with using OpenStreetMap is if yung quality ng data sa lugar nyo is bad, you can improve it yourself. You don't have to wait for someone else to do that for you. That's something that's not possible with proprietary datasets. Kung basura yung road data nyo ng lugar nyo sa Google, you have to wait for Google to fix that for you. Wala kang magagawa doon. Right? Kung walang data yung probinsya nyo, yung munisipyo nyo sa road network, wala rin tayong magagawa doon. Kasi kailangan nilang gawin, kailangan muna nilang maka-generate ng data na yun before sa atin ibigay. But on OSM, pwede tayong mag-digitize nung roads, nung buildings, nung points of interest, and uh, everyone benefits, right? There are some places in the Philippines that have such good coverage ng OSM because also of their local communities. And yeah, if you talk with yung yung OSM community sa Pilipinas, and if you look at the history, you'll see that actually yung ating watershed moment was Yolanda. When Yolanda struck, that's where people started noticing yung importance ng free and open geospatial data. Kasi nung time na yon, yung ilang mga datasets na gamit ng ating mga local government units or ng mga agencies, they were outdated. Were 5 years ago kasi hindi pa daw nag-update ng bagong mapa yung agency or yung whatever. But OpenStreetMap was updated, right? So if you're looking for data, or if you want to create a better data set for you and for others to use, please take a look at OpenStreetMap. I know some LGUs na take advantage of OSM as their data storage essentially, and data quality um, um, para sa roads tsaka building data nila. Kasi if I'm an LGU, gusto kong imapa yung roads ko, I don't want to spend too much on developing a system myself. I don't want to spend on storage. I can actually digitize my roads on OpenStreetMap. Si OpenStreetMap yung bahala mag-manage ng storage, mag-manage ng data, and its roads. Hindi naman ata proprietary information yung roads. Anyone can map a road. Anyone must have information on a road. So may ilang LGUs akong kilala, ganun yung ginagawa nila. They have a very complete data set on OpenStreetMap. So pag kailangan nilang mag-CLUP, kailangan nilang mag-update ng data, kailangan nilang mag-analysis sa lugar nila, mag-SIDRA, etc. Meron na silang dataset at nasa OpenStreetMap lang siya. Right? So something to think about for those of us na working especially sa mga government agencies. Ang daming applications that we can use more optimally, right? So that's OSM. There's also, of course, mga Earth observation and remote sensing data. Ito yung mga digital elevation models. Ito yung mga um, uh, temperature, precipitation, climate data, land cover, land use, right? Marami rin tayong pwedeng paghanapan nito. Some examples of these, if you have an account on Google Earth Engine or Open Data on AWS, maraming pwedeng i-download doon. There are a lot of portals online, USGS Earth Explorer, NASA Earth Data, ESA Land Cover, Copernicus Open Access. So most of them do not need an account. Some of them you just need to sign up. Wala namang payment information na hinihingi just for tracking yung usage ng data. And you can download the data directly from them. Right? And speaking of portals, napakarami pang iba. Specific to the Philippines, we have Awesome Data Philippines, like I said. Um, so if you just look for Awesome Data Philippines sa inyong browser, I think siya yung probably the only one na mag-a-appear, or that one of the topmost na mag-a-appear. Yeah. So yeah, if you look for Awesome Data Philippines, yung repository ko yung lalabas. So it's just a collection of sources of Philippine data. Again, I ask people to share din kung meron sila, and then dagdag namin dito. And you can filter, right? I'm looking for whatever it is that you need. Pwede naman. These aren't the data sets themselves. These are just links to the data sources. Good source of geotemporal data for the Philippines, you would be since wala pa, hindi pa operational fully, I think. I have to ask my PhilSA friends kung operational na fully yung ano nila. But with for these kinds of analysis, we still need to refer mostly to global datasets. Um, so para sa mga ganyan, you'd probably go to USGS Earth Explorer, NASA Earth Data Search, um, Planetary, Planetary Computer ng Microsoft, also Google Earth Engine. Maraming both spatio-temporal data na andon. Medyo cumbersome lang ng konti i-search yung data, but they're there, right? Wala pa tayong in-house, meaning in-country na gumagawa nun. Another option that you might have is to actually collaborate or coordinate with uh, either PhilSA or ASTI, Advanced Sciences Technology Institute ng DOST. Kasi as far as I know, meron silang subscription sa ilang mga uh, remote sensing and Earth observation providers. I've done that before, pero mostly via request, and dapat may reason. For example, you're doing research. If it's for commercial proprietary activities, madalas hindi nila inaalaw. Kasi it was procured with government money, so the idea is for academic research, for government agencies, etc. So pwede kayong mag-connect with them para dun. But your mileage may vary depende sa reason nyo kung bakit nyo kailangan yung data na yun. Right. So yun, we have Humanitarian Data Exchange. That's a good data source for humanitarian data, population, health, etc. GADM if you need admin boundary data na indicative, although not always accurate and also updated, pwede na. Open Data Philippines, we have our own data portal sa Pilipinas, although again, may mga limitations, pero at least may data there. And of course, the Philippine Geoportal. I have a video on the Philippine Geoportal that you can watch kung gusto yung matutunan kung paano siya gamitin just to download data. Right? Yun. So, any questions?